Hey guys, what's going on? Retire on Dividends here. Back to make another video, but this time I want to talk about Crush and how it basically can or cannot work with TSLY. Obviously, everyone's familiar with TSLY. It's an options income strategy for the underlying Tesla, and it does, it creates its synthetic positions and then it sells calls on a weekly basis, right? And it earns premium and that pays us out a distribution. Now, there's also other fund. It's called CRSH, Crash. It actually has its own category. So if you go to their website and you go under our ETFs, they now have a section called YieldMax Short Option Income ETFs. I'm sure they'll have more, but right now it's just Crash standalone. So someone actually mentioned to me, it's going to be interesting when Crash gets added to YieldMax, but in my opinion, it won't. It shouldn't. Hopefully it doesn't. Again, I think that's why they kind of categorize everything. In my opinion, anything falling under covered call ETF would go under YieldMax. Short option income ETFs. Maybe one day they'll have their own ETF, but I would like to think that Crash is not going to be part of YieldMax. I hope it's not, to be honest. All right, so what is Crash? What does it say? It says the fund does not invest directly into Tesla. Yeah, we know that. It does not directly short Tesla. Okay, yes, we know that. No distribution rate because it's brand new. Okay, it's actively managed ETF that seeks to generate monthly income from a synthetic covered put strategy on Tesla, right? TSLY is a synthetic covered call strategy, right? This is a synthetic covered put strategy while providing indirect short exposure to the share price of Tesla. Crash seeks to benefit when Tesla share price decreases. However, Crash's potential corresponding benefit from decreases in Tesla share price is limited, similar to the upside is limited on Tesla. All right. So what else? It came out May 1st, 2024. Same expense ratio, 0.99%. Holdings kind of surprised me, kind of caught me off guard. So I had to load them into a spreadsheet, and I'll show you what the heck is going on. There's a whole bunch of holdings there. Prospectus, won't get into that. But anyway, let's move on to the spreadsheet. I kind of made a quick, little chart here, what each does. So they both have a synthetic position, right? So for Tesla, it's a sell put, and it's a buy call. That's the synthetic position that mimics the movement of the underlying, okay? Now, what makes them money in the long run is the buy call, right? If the stock goes up, they will make a lot of money on the buy call. If the stock goes down, they will lose a lot of money on the sell put. But, the ETF will move up or down as Tesla moves up or down, right? Whether good or bad. Now, Crash, what do? They buy a put, they sell a call, okay? So, again, when you sell a call, you're saying, I'll sell you these shares for this price. So if Tesla goes up above the sell call price, that is not good because they will have to settle that difference in cash because they don't own any shares outright. So if they sell a call on, Tesla for $200 and that's a synthetic strike and Tesla goes to $250, they have to cover that gap. And that's not good. But obviously, if you invest in Crash, you want Tesla, or you're thinking Tesla is going to go down. So when you buy that put, you make more and more money as Tesla goes down. So that's how you make money on the buy put. So on the buy side, you can become very profitable on one or the other depending on how Tesla reacts. Obviously, Tesla's synthetic strategy is bullish and Crash is bearish. Now, as far as the weekly action, we mentioned both of which can be capped, all right? TSLY, that ETF, their synthetic is bullish, right? We make money when it goes up. However, they sell weekly calls. So when you sell a call, again, you're gonna agree to sell your shares for a certain price, and that's why it caps it. So selling calls is actually a bearish play because you want the stock to stay below the strike price of your call strike. Now, when it comes to Crash, they're going to sell a put, right? Both of these are going to be out of the money, by the way. 0 to 15%, whatever the prospectus says. But again, when you sell a put, you're bullish, right? Because if you sell a put, you're basically saying, I'll buy these shares for this amount, right? So if the stock goes up, you're not going to have to buy those shares for that amount because no one's going to sell it for you for that amount. If the stock goes down, then you'll have to buy those shares. If it goes down below the strike price of the sell put, you'll have to buy those shares for that price. Since they don't buy shares, obviously they're going to cash settle. So if they sell a put, for say 180, right? It goes to 170. Obviously they have to cover that $10 gap per share. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's very confusing, to be honest. I can imagine, if you don't know options, how confusing this may sound. This one I saw, I was like, what? What are they doing? I don't even know, to be honest. But I'm assuming it's some type of defensive play, right? Because the more Tesla goes up, the more damaging that this synthetic for crash can get, destroyed, right? Because that sell call, if Tesla just goes skyrocketing, that sell call is going to kill them, right? They're going to have to cover a massive gap. But here they are playing some defense. I haven't looked at the prospectus, but I assume it says this is a defensive play because they're buying a call way out of the money, way out in expiration, just in case the underlying goes skyrocketing. Then they can make money. They can make some profit along the way if it does get to that point. If it doesn't get to that point, they assume the damage won't be as bad. But if it does get to that point, they have this type, we'll call it insurance play here. So Crash does have that, which makes me curious. I wonder if they'll ever consider doing that for Tesla, buying a put. So it's a good thought, right? Because people always say, why don't you hedge, right? Why don't you hedge your, whatever. But here's the hedge, I guess. All right, so that's the little charts. Now, as far as holdings go, these are the TSLY holdings. I'm not going to go into that because most of you that are watching, you watch my daily videos. You understand how TSLY works. But basically, they have a synthetic position and they sell weekly calls. That's what all that is. And then here's Crash. Like, what is going on with Crash? I saw this. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I thought this was going to be easy, like a really quick video. And I ran into this and I'm like, forget it, right? So I had to break it up. So here are the holdings, all right? So I highlighted the puts in yellow and I highlighted the calls in orange and then cash and treasuries in green, which we're not talking about cash and treasuries, just so you know. So if you look in yellow on the top, those are the puts, right? But those are the synthetic puts, all right? So they have 188 positions, contracts for the synthetic. Now, for whatever reason, it looks like, because their synthetic, as we spoke, if we go back to our chart, right? What is their synthetic? Their synthetic is a buy put, a sell call. So if you go here, we have the buy puts. Okay, great. But then they sold a put. They sold 7 contracts. Why doesn't it show 23 buy puts? And why is it? I don't know. I put it together and I just figured, okay, 188 contracts. Because again, if they're selling put 7 contracts, sell put, same expiration, same strike, that's an offset. So that's 188 contracts for the synthetic. And then right below it, here's the other part of the synthetic, right? The sell call, right? As we spoke right there. Yep. So that's sell call, same amount of contracts, 188, okay? So there they are. Okay, so that's the synthetic position, okay? And the synthetic, the price is all over the place. There's a 170 and there's a 180. Okay, great. Now what? Now they have the weekly call, the weekly transactions. Weekly transactions, they sell puts. But what are they doing? By the way, guys, I may be screwing this up, but this is how I'm picturing it. They're selling a weekly call that expires Friday, May 17th, and then they're selling another call. Put. They're selling a put that expires Friday, and then another put the following Friday. Like, this can't be right. But I don't know. This is how I broke it up, and this is how it ended up. And then that defense protection, here it is, the buy call, right? So they're buying a call of a 265 strike for July 19th. That way, if Tesla decides to go up past 265 by July 19th, this is going to make, they'll make some money off of it, right? And it'll offset the damage it'll do to this, this put. Because the synthetic, again, their synthetic is buy, put, sell, call. That synthetic has an expiration date of July 19th as well. So they decided to add that buy call that expires the same date, that could, again, make a profit because if Tesla goes to 265, that synthetic is not good. We'll just say that. It's going to be very damaged. In fact, their buy call maybe should have been a little lower. I mean, that gap is huge. But again, let's just simplify this though. I mean, I'm trying not to overcomplicate it, but when I looked at the holdings, it's beyond, complication at this very moment. Maybe I chose the worst time to look at it, and I will revisit this, by the way. I'll do a follow-up video. But for now, this is how I'm reading it. Whether right or wrong, this is how I see it. But in summary, just think of it as if Tesla goes up, Tesla goes up. If Tesla goes down, crash goes up, okay? Both are capped in either direction, right? So, you got to look at it that way. But the moral of the story is if you buy both of these equally weighted, then can your capital stay flat? Like, can you be capital flat and get a distribution yield of, say, 50% out of both of these? So you're going to make 50% dividend distribution, and you're going to stay capital flat, because regardless of the direction, Tesla goes, like if Tesla goes up 10%, sure, you'll lose money on crash, but you'll make the money on Tesla. Obviously, that's capped, to a certain extent. And then vice versa, if Tesla goes down 10%, you'll lose money on Tesla, and then you'll make money on crash. Again, to the capped potential. So let's look at this with live data, just to see like what's going on here. So if we start at the top, the first price comes up. It's May 2nd, right? Tesla was 1580, crash was 2009. Okay. All right. So then the next day, May 3rd, Tesla went up 0.82%. And then crash went down 0.2%. So that's a change, or I'll say a gap of 0.62%. And then column K, I'm tracking the ITD change, because the idea is you want the ITD change to be 0%. You want to be capital flat. Obviously, that's not going to happen, because like we said, if Tesla goes up, skyrockets up, right? Then you're gonna lose all that money on crush, right? Because you get the full downside of that, and then you're going to be capped on Tesla. So it's not going to be good. But then if Tesla tanks, you're going to capture the full downside on Tesla, and then for crash, you're going to be capped, on the upside potential. Either way, let's just see how it looks so far. In red, row 4, of course, ex-dividend date happened already, so I deducted that distribution amount from it. And then that day, Tesla went up by 1.53%, and crash went down by 1.35%. Much smaller gap there, so that day made sense, 0.19%. Next 2 days look to be the weekend, so if we go to May 7th, Tesla went down by 2.52%, and then crash went up 3.08%, 0.56% gap. ITD change, 1.37%. And then what else we got? We got May 8th. Tesla went down 1.33%. Crash went up 1.28%. Very small gap. This is the closest I've seen, 0.05%. All right, our ITD change is 1.32%. Then on May 9th, Tesla went down by 1.54%. Crash went up 1.11%. That's a 0.43% gap, which puts the ITD change at 0.89%, which is pretty good, considering, right? And then May 10th, this is the last day recorded that I have. By the way, I'm recording this video for your information, Sunday, May 12th. Obviously, this is why it's cut off here, but I will make an update later on, probably next month. So on May 10th, Tesla went down obviously Tesla did not have a good week, but Tesla went down again 1.98%, but crash only went up 0.48%. So they were probably capped. See, this is where it sucks. So it's 1.5% gap, and then the ITD change is negative 0.61%. So the capping thing obviously is going to be a problem, but I don't know. This could work. Like if you own outright, keep them equally weighted, this could work. However, if you're more bullish on Tesla than you are bearish, then you're probably going to weight this a little more on TSLY versus what you put in on crash. So if I was to play this, right, I'm more, I'll say, bullish on Tesla than I am bearish. So maybe like a 75-25, but that's just me, right? And in the end, like, you know, you could change it around how you want. Like if Tesla is at an all-time high, you may decide to put more in crash at that moment, right? Because you just think there's going to be a correction. And so you could play this very wisely. I mean, if you understand Tesla and how the price fluctuates insanely. But yeah, so this is the information I've gathered so far. I thought it's an interesting play. If you do decide to, obviously you could just own crash. If you hate Tesla and you just think it's going to tank, you just own crash. I would not advise that ever, but which reminds me, guys, obviously I'm not a financial advisor. This is never financial advice. These videos are just for fun and entertainment. So just always remember that. I'm just giving my opinion, and, you know, hopefully it helps. Hopefully it doesn't. Who knows? But either way, I just wanted to share you know, what's going on, what this fund is, because I haven't talked about it yet. And since it involves TSLY, their biggest fund, you know, people may be interested. So would I own 50-50? Probably not. Would I own it at all? To be honest, probably not. But it is still early. I may change my mind down the road. I want to see the ITD change and how it develops. You know, when we get like a month down the road, then we'll see what we look like, okay? And I'll make a recap video. We'll see what we look like. If the ITD change is around 0, or, you know, it's not going to be around 0. If it's, we'll just say plus or minus 3 to 5%, right? Because you don't want to lose. I mean, I don't know. We have to think about this. We have to see what crash is yielding too, so that matters as well. But again, time will tell. It's too early for me to say whether or not either is a good play. Obviously, I don't own TSLY, and I don't own crash. So, you know, but again, is it a good play to own both? Maybe. I don't know. I'd like to see this develop in time and see how it goes. But again, if you're completely bullish on Tesla, then there's no reason to own crash, right? There's just no reason, in my opinion. But I don't know. So that's all I got. Hope you guys enjoyed this content, all right? If you did, please hit the like button. If you're confused as hell, let me know in the comments, and we could talk more. Maybe join the Discord. We'll talk more about this fund. I think it deserves a conversation. Or we could talk in the comments if you don't want to have Discord. If you think I screwed up something on the holdings, feel free to let me know, because I did this pretty quick, and it's, you know, it kind of confused me seeing how the transactions were lined up, because they're all over the place, right? Their crash is crazy. Maybe they should just call it crazy, right? CRSH, maybe that would work. But either way, thank you for watching, guys. Like I said, not financial advice. Please do your own research. These funds are super, super risky, all right? But if played right, you could probably yield a lot of money. So, you know. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for today, and hope you guys have a great day. Later.